ni class. It's a classic one because snake pia si tunapata kwa restaurant. Yes. So at first I saw that snake. You know ile iko black and white. Eh? Na imepikwa yote iko kwa sahani. So what happened? I was like, I must try it. Nikachukua chopstick. I tried to take it.
Chopsticks.
Yes, I tried to take it and my blood just like, you know, mkono nikarusha chini.
Alafu?
Then nikasema lazima tu. You know, this is the only
time
I have. If I don't, and then I will go back without trying it. So nilichukua fork, I just took it, and then I tested and I saw. Or there is just something that happens. And some passengers, they do understand when you make, like you tell them that the flight is going to delay or there is a cancellation. We have passengers that are classified as frequent flyers. The frequent flyers, mostly they are gold members, like they have flight several times mpaka wamefika kiwango ya
Gold.
they even make a decision for the airline. If a passenger, let's assume a passenger is in business class and raises a complaint, of course the airline will follow. But if a gold member raises a complaint, it is very serious. Very serious. If a gold member says hii chakula si tamu, itatolewa kwa menu.
Wow.
Yes. Most of the Chinese passengers, they don't speak English or they don't understand when they make announcement. So I always end up making the announcements for them, calling them so that they can go boarding. So you find people around the airport, they go like, oh, how did you learn? Like, I also want to learn. Yeah. How long did it take you? Which is the best place to go? But in Kenya also we have Confucius
Chinese
Institute. Yeah, Confucius. I see Nairobi University, they have, KU, they have. And I think, I'm not sure, but Egerton was supposed to have one. So that is where you can go and start from there. There are people who go to China as exchange students. They start their Chinese here, and then they can go to China for 1 year or 2 years. That country now to work with the airline. Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I was just assuming, do they do transfers?
No, they don't do transfers because for us, you know, China Southern is only in Nairobi, in Kenya, in the whole of Africa.
Yes. Oh, really?
Yes.
Hi guys, how are you? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you for clicking. We have an amazing guest today. Her name, I'll let her tell you her name. She does amazing stuff at Kenya Southern Airline, and without any further ado, I'll let her. Welcome.
Thank you, Grace.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you so much. Okay, my name is Judith Nashipai.
Yes.
I come from Narok County.
Yes.
To be specific, Kilgoris, Transmara.
Yes.
Yes. And I'm here. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for accepting my request. And we basically want to know how you got into learning Chinese, getting so good into it that you actually work for the airline. How was your bringing up? Where did you go to school? How did you get to go to China? All that.
Okay. I grew up in Kilgoris.
Yes.
And I was born in Kilgoris. And yeah, I went to school in a school. I was in a boarding school, St. Joseph's Girls Mission School in Kilgoris. It was the only girls' primary school with a boarding school, with the boarding services. Yeah, so that is where I went when I was in class 3. So from there, I stayed in the boarding until class 8. And it was a good journey because I started being independent when I was really young. I was too young. So, you know, going to boarding at that age, you have to do stuff for yourself, of which it made me to be strong and independent. And then after class 8, I went to Masai Girls High School in Narok. So I was there still boarding. So yeah, my life was just about boarding. Yes. So I stayed in Masai Girls. I finished my high school, and then now. But before I joined high school, in primary, I always had a dream of going abroad. I don't know how it came, but I always wanted to just to go outside of the country. I didn't know where.
Yes, you
Yeah.
just needed out of
Yeah,
there.
I don't know hata ninge end up in any other country.
Yes.
I don't like I just wanted to go outside the country. So when I was still in primary, I remember in class 8, I told my mom, I think when I finish class 8, I don't want to go to high school. I want to go and start learning to be a tour guide in Mara. So that yes, so that I
because there are
associate
so many opportunities.
foreigners,
Yes.
and then I can get an opportunity to travel, to go
Yes.
outside the country. But it did not happen, so I ended up in high school, which was a good it was a good journey. So after Form 4, there were some chances of some students, those who completed Form 4, to go to China.
Yes.
So we got that opportunity, and I was among them. And yes, I went there in 2009.
2009.
Yes, just I finished my high school in 2008, and then 2009 I
Yes.
went to China. Yes.
That's nice.
Yeah.
And how was life in China now that you didn't speak any Chinese, anything? How was it? How was it?
Okay, it was, I can say it was really hard because first, when I was like getting ready to go to China, you know, the paperwork was in English from Nairobi. You apply the visa, you apply like everything, even the school. The letter from the school was in English. So when I got to China, because I went to Beijing first, that was my first port of entry to China.
Yeah.
So Beijing, and I started seeing characters, you know, the Chinese writing. For sure, I never knew there were those writings. I knew maybe Chinese is like French, Spanish. It's just alphabet, only that the spellings are different.
Yeah.
But when I got there,
Yeah.
they have characters. That was the first shock.
Yeah, that was the
First
first
shock.
culture shock.
Yeah, that was the first culture shock. And then the place was too beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, coming from the village, I'm a village girl, and then
You're going to China.
yes, you go to China, and the first place is Beijing. You know the way it is developed. Unaingia airport, umechukua baggage, and then lift inawapeleka juu, mnachukua taxi huko juu. So you wonder like barabara inapitaje juu ya nyumba. So for me it was just like I was confused. I didn't know like what is happening. Nilikuwa nasikia kisungusungu. Yes. Yeah, but and then
that was the first shock.
Yeah, that was the first shock.
And the alphabet thing.
Yes.
So how did you get into it? How did
Okay,
you start learning?
what happened?
Yes.
I went, now I joined the school, the college, because when you get there, no matter what major you are taking, as long as you are going to take a major in Chinese,
Yes.
you have to have the basic Chinese, which is 1 year.
Yeah.
And then you have to attain some level of HSK. HSK is like the national exam to test because Chinese there is Mandarin, the one that I speak. Mandarin is the standard. Everybody, like foreigners, that is what we learn. And then now they have Chinese also, they have their own dialects. Somebody from Shanghai and Beijing, they don't speak the same. Yeah. But this Chinese, the Mandarin, is the standard that bring everybody together and they can understand each other. So when I had to start the first year in college, that is now the language. It was confusing because going to class, when you just don't understand what is happening.
Yeah.
Really, like I was just confused.
So, mi nakujua kana shipai, si ndio? I don't know Judy.
Yes, many people. Okay, my family, they know Judith, and but in primary, Nashipai. So Judith is actually, I take it as my official name. If somebody calls me Judith, you really have to be like, why are you calling me Judith? You know, like what happened? You really have to be like, maybe tulisoma pamoja.
Yeah.
Ama tunafanya kazi pamoja. That is when you can know Judith. Because at work, I am Judith. Everybody knows me as Judith.
Okay.
Yes.
So when you guys went to China, you went as a group, right?
Yes, we were a group. But you see, when you go as a group, you just you are a group from Nairobi. But when you get there, kila mtu anaenda njia yake.
Everyone is for themselves.
Yes. Because I remember when we left, we went to Qatar, Doha, and then Doha, Beijing. But now when we get to Beijing, kuna wale wanabaki Beijing, na kuna wale bado wako na onward flights wanaenda to their final destinations. So you go as a group from here, but from the other side now, kila mtu anaenda kivyake. Yes.
Na were you guys all sponsored?
Yes.
That's nice.
We were sponsored, but kuna wale wako na full scholarship, the government full scholarship, sorry, and then kuna wale wako na partial scholarship. Wow. So me, I was on a partial scholarship. Yes.
Partial means?
Means like they will pay your school fees and then you pay for accommodation. And others also is like they pay your accommodation and then you pay for your school fees. So yeah.
So they don't do both?
They don't do, that is partial scholarship. And the reason why I got partial is because I applied late. So I didn't get a chance to get the full scholarship.
One.
Yeah, the full scholarship.
And you went there for nursing?
Oh yes. When I was leaving this country, I was going to do nursing. Pursue nursing. And then now when I got there, you see, I started my language, the 1 year language.
Yes.
And then now you have to go for your major. So when I finished my language in Beijing, I moved to Hangzhou, a city in the south.
Yes.
And they told me if I have to take nursing in that university, now I need to do another 1 year for the Chinese language, which was going to take long because I've already done 1 year in Beijing. And then now I come here, you are telling me to take another 1 year so that I can get to nursing.
Yes.
So I saw like, and then I had one teacher, so I asked her, what other option do I have? Can I change things?
Yes.
And she was like, yeah, you can change. And the best I can do is, if I'm comfortable, to take the Chinese language as a major.
Yeah.
And I asked her if I wanted, again, I had to take another year so that I joined the major. She was like, no, that 1 year you did in Beijing is enough for you to start the major in Chinese language. And then I took it. And everybody was shocked. And I didn't tell people at home first.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, just doing your thing.
Because I was like, if nursing, I'm not going to take nursing.
Yes.
I was going to take tourism, of which tourism now, I had to move to another university. And I didn't want to move to the other university. I just wanted to stay in this university because it's one of the best universities in China.
Yes.
It's among the top 3. I think when I joined, it was among the top 10, but now saizi nimeambiwa imepanda imekuwa the top 3. Yes, so it's a good university. Yeah.
So how did you end up in a Chinese major?
Okay, so
and
now
dropping nursing?
Yeah, I had to drop it because I didn't want to take the Chinese language for 2 years and then nursing for 4 years.
That is a total.
Yeah, 6 years.
6 or 7.
Yeah, it will be around 7 years.
Yes.
So I didn't want that. So I was like, let me take this major. You know, it is like you risk.
Yes.
You know when you have to make a decision by yourself. Nobody is making it for you. So you have to think.
And
it was
young
not
at
easy.
the time.
Yeah, and I was young. I just finished high school. I finished 1 year in Beijing. Now I have moved to another city. And everybody, as the majors are starting, so you have to make a decision so that you join the class and get registered.
Wow.
So I had to make that decision. It was not easy, but I made it, and I was like, let me do it. Yeah. And that is how I ended up doing Chinese language.
So now, how hard was the class?
Okay, the class was hard because you see, when you start the basic one,
yes,
it is just how to communicate, how to say hello, like I want some food, just for your own good. But now when you join the major, now it goes up, like it changes. So now you have to start learning complicated words. You have to write the characters because you have to use your handwriting.
Wait, how do you learn the characters? Because they don't have...
Okay, what happens? They have something called pinyin. Pinyin is like they write in words, like just alphabetical, and then now you have to translate it in the character. Yes. So you can write something like Nairobi. In pinyin, it's Nairobi. So you see that one you can write with the alphabet, but hapo chini sasa you have to Nairobi with the Chinese character. So it started getting complicated because you know And when you write these characters, sometimes you're told you're not writing the right way.
Wow.
So the first
because
now
you're learning, it's your first time learning.
So now the major, because the major takes you 4 years. So that first year is learning about the pinning and the characters. And then now when you go to second year, it becomes intense. Like it is crazy because now you have to be able to read, to write, like, and then you have to not translation. Like the book does not have
translation at that point
at all, because in the first year and also in the basic, the beginners, it has some English, like ni hao, it's hello, like you can see the translation. But now when you get to the second year, there is nothing. You can't see English anywhere. So you have to read that pinning. You ask questions. And then sometimes the Google is not working. So you just have to, like, for the second year, I ended up like, I was like, do I really need to do this?
Did I really make
Yes, in second year, I was like, I do not want to do this major. It is getting crazy. So I called my friends because I had friends there. They were, some of them were doing medicine and they're doing it in Chinese. So you have to communicate to know, is it hard for them also? So they go like, yeah, it's also hard. They're just trying. And some people, by the way, they drop out. Yeah, some people, they get pressure. They cannot make it, and then they just, unapata mtu amechange, amerudi Kenya. For me, coming back was not my option.
An option.
I will not come back. That is what I told myself. Like, nimekuja nimeshindwa, narudi sasa nyumbani.
Okay, imagine unarudi
kwenda Kilgoris. Nirudi Kilgoris.
Mama yangu
So I was like, I have to really work hard. And second year, yes, it was very hard.
Yeah.
And I remember some subjects were zinanilemea. When you do the exam, and then
so you have different subjects for the language.
Yes. Different subjects. You have literature, you have like maths is also there. Like because you're going to be a translator, you have to know every field.
Yeah.
Because if you end up being a translator in a nositop, what are you going to translate? Ukiwa tour guide, how are you going to communicate with the guests? Yes, the Chinese guests. So you have to be, you are everywhere. And now in second year, that is the year that I can say it was the hardest for me.
Yeah.
And in China, the pass mark in our country, pass mark is 50.
Yes.
In China, it's 60. 60 out of 100. So ukipata 50 or 55, less than 60 is a fail, and you have to retake that exam. So in second year, there are subjects that I really like. You get 50, but I used to console myself. I was like, if I was in Kenya, in pass. So I was like, I'm not dropping it. Let me continue. So after that, now when I was joining the third year, things started changing because I think
you have any fail?
Yes, in second year, yes.
Yeah.
I had
what happened?
fail. What happened is because what happens?
After you've done
you will have to retake in third year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And in China, a retaking exam is not something you follow up as a student.
Yes.
It's the duty of the lecturers to tell you that you have to retake.
Yes.
So it's very hard to get missing marks in China. Very hard. Like the universities are just straightforward unless you are not attending classes. That is where now you will have the missing marks.
Yes.
But if you fail, you will retake and they remind you.
The lecturer will follow
Yes, they follow up. They remind you. They even upload in the system.
Yes.
So you can be able to know when we start the exams, you have an extra exam to take. So now I joined third year, and third year was not bad because I relaxed. The pressure, in second year I was depressed, like,
you are rethinking your situation.
Yes, my situation. I felt bad about my life. I regretted everything. I was like, ningeenda tu, ningekuwa Kenya, ningeenda college nisome na English nimalize. Ningekuwa karibu ninamaliza. Hii ni shida gani? I started feeling really bad. And at some point, I don't go outside. I just want to try to study. But now in third year, I relaxed. I relaxed. I started even going out. I said kaa mbaya mbaya.
Ulianza kama mwenyeji.
Nikakuwa mwenyeji sasa. Ukijua jiji,
yes, na unajua lugha.
Yeah, na najua lugha. At least sasa I can communicate. So in third year, things changed. My brain ika open up. I just started, like, when I read, I remember everything. When the exams come, I remember.
Oh, because you are relaxed.
Yes, basically. I relaxed. I started, like, because in second year, I had a lot of pressure. Like, I have to retake some exams. I'm a failure. That is what I was feeling. But then now, when I went to third year, I was like,
this is not it.
This is not it. So things changed, and I had a good lecturer. She was a good woman. She helped me a lot. She told me, like, to relax and just, if I have any problem, I should ask.
Yeah.
So that is what happened. And I started just being a normal person.
Yes.
And now when I go to class, when there is homework, assignments, I'm okay with it. Like, I can now read the Chinese language. I can understand. I can read the story.
Yeah.
I can answer the questions. So things completely started changing in third year. So from third year and fourth year, nothing. I didn't retake any exam, like, fail.
Wow.
So now in third year, I had to retake the ones that I failed in second year. So, and when I took the exams, I passed. And now, in my class, we were around 28 students, foreigners.
Were there any Africans?
No, I was the only African in my class, the only African. So I became an example, like my lecturer, because other students, most of them were Asians, Japanese, Koreans. Alafu pia kuna wale wa China.
Yeah.
There are those Chinese, like, they were born outside China. So their parents are bringing them back to learn Chinese. So it happened that now I'm beating some people. And my lecturer started saying, yeah, she was like, this Feijo is Africa. This Feijo lady now she's even beating some Asians in class. So, I just tried my best. I took the national exam for, you have to write a thesis in China before you graduate. You have to write thesis in undergraduate. We write, we defend, they approve, and then now that is when you can graduate.
Yes.
So without their approval, you cannot
graduate.
Yeah. And then also there is a national exam. It's called HSK. HSK is the standard Chinese Mandarin. And you have to do, like, they have levels, level 1 up to 6. But if you can take level 5 and you get some marks, 216, it allows you to graduate. That means your Chinese is perfect. So I took and I passed that exam. And then also the thesis, I did the thesis about animals, because I knew when I come back, I'm going to be a translator
for tourists.
Yes. So I chose that one. So you can imagine I had to name almost 35 animals.
Animals.
Yes.
Yes.
And you write their characteristics. If you have to explain to a tourist, like, this is a giraffe.
Yeah.
What are their characteristics? How do they behave? Elephant, like, so you have to, on your thesis, you have to write like that. So I did it, and in fact, I passed. I passed with flying colors.
Congratulations!
So, yeah.
So did you? That was now the end of your.
Yes, and
study.
then, but now one thing I didn't mention is that, I had to be, I'm a student, but also I'm teaching Chinese, English to Chinese kids. So I was having a part-time job, at least to support myself.
Yourself, yes.
So I was doing I was teaching the children, small children, around 5 to 10 years. So I was teaching them English.
So how was teaching?
It was good, but
now because you understand their language.
Yes,
you understand.
But you see, now when you start teaching them, their parents also, they don't want you to speak any Chinese to their children.
They just want you to speak English.
Yes.
Na unataka kuongea Chinese.
No. Mtoto haingizi kitu yoyote English, anajua tu hello. So you have to
play in between.
Yes, you have to play in between, but they don't want you to speak Chinese. Otherwise they will think like they don't need you. So you have to try your best, of which I did, and I managed. So I taught English for almost 3 years. Then now after I graduated, because the graduation, I was all alone, nobody from home. You know, when you are
You didn't have any Kenyans joining you?
No, I have friends, but at that time, most Kenyans were not in that city, or if they were also, they were also, no, we knew each other because we have, I have others, we were together in the same university, but different campus. So unapata nyi mukigraduate, even then they are doing something, because most of them walikuwa kwa medicine, so they couldn't come. But I had my other friends from Ethiopia, US. Those are the people now who came for me during my graduation.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. So how was your, how did you cope apart from the language? How did you cope with the weather? Because the weather is different from here.
Yes.
And their food is totally different from ours.
Yes.
How did you cope with all that?
Okay, when maybe I should start with the food. When it comes to food, it was really like, considering what people say that they eat this and that. So I was really scared because you don't know. So you need to eat what you see. Like rice. There was a time I ate rice for almost a week with ketchup.
Oh.
Yes. Because I don't want meat, I'm scared.
You're scared of eating
yes.
frogs?
Yes. But now I realize their food is there and they have what you can eat. There is chicken.
They have options.
Yeah, there is chicken, there is beef, there is pork. The meat that they eat most is pork. Beef is is very expensive, not a bit. It's very expensive. So you find you are eating pork and you are eating the chicken, and then now they have a lot of vegetables. Yes. So I started eating what I know, what I see, especially chicken. You know, chicken, you can tell this is chicken. But it was hard because now you see, when they say they eat frogs, it's not an offense, because it's true. The frogs are there, and you can see in the when you go to a restaurant, you can order. It's in the menu. But it's a delicacy. It's not like you can just find anywhere. Some restaurants you cannot find, but there are specific ones you find. And people actually eat.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they eat, but I never tried.
You never tried?
No.
You left China without trying?
No. Yes. I never tried a frog because one, I was scared. The only thing I tried, I can say that I ate, is a snake.
How was it?
It's like fish.
Yeah, okay.
It's fish, actually.
Really?
Yes, it's fish.
It's just like fish?
Yeah.
Okay.
Very soft. Yeah, so I had to test the snake because I went to an event, and you know, at that time I was about to leave China.
Yes.
So I haven't eaten those strange foods. That time the event was very, you know, a very expensive event, and snakes being there, it means ni class. It's a classic one because snake pia si tunapata kwa restaurant. Yes. So at first I saw that snake, you know, ile iko black and white. Na imepikwa yote iko kwa sahani. So what happened? I was like, I must try it. Nikachukua chopstick. I tried to take it.
Chopsticks.
Yes, I tried to take it, and my blood just like, you know, mkono nikarusha chini. Then nikasema lazima tu, you know, this is the only
time
I have. If I don't, and then I will go back without trying it. So nilichukua fork, I just took it, and then I tested and I swallowed.
So why didn't you experience with frogs?
Okay, to be honest, I'm scared of frogs. That is one thing. You know, growing up back home in the village, you go to the river to fetch water, you see frogs, and sometimes in a kurukia, and you just, so I had like I couldn't. And also in Maasai, like when a woman is pregnant, they call wanasamanga entua. So I also had that cultural thing of, you know, this is how they define us when we are pregnant in Maasai. Wasemangi mtu so wanasema entua. It's like a polite way to address a woman, a pregnant woman. So I was like, I can't. I really like I couldn't do it. And I came back without trying it.
And you haven't tried here?
No.
Because there are restaurants?
No, I cannot. If I didn't try in China, there is no way I'm going to try it.
Okay.
I'm going to try it here. It's not possible.
Okay.
Yes.
How was the weather?
Well,
Adoption.
the weather was crazy
Mm-hmm.
because I went there. It was in September.
Mm-hmm.
To
Just
9.
before winter.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
before winter.
Mm-hmm.
So when I got there, it
Mm-hmm.
was hot at that time, but you know the heat. Najua saa zingine
Mm-hmm.
we say like in the West,
Mm-hmm.
the hot season is summer.
Yeah.
But when you come to Kenya, the hot season tunasema kiangazi.
Yes.
Yeah. So on the other side, they enjoy when it's hot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they have those like the dressing changes. People go for holidays.
Mm.
But in here, we are complaining that ninja, it's drought and all
Yeah.
that.
Mm.
So when I go there, it was hot at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
And then now the weather changed to winter. At that time, I was living with the Kenyan. We were now in Beijing. That
Yeah.
was in Beijing when we just got to China. So I was living with a Kenyan. And when it started, the winter started, like the snow. That day, we were sleeping. You know, we didn't see any signs. We went to class, and then we came back in the dormitory, in the hostel. So in the morning, tunaona vitu zinaanguka kama koto. One, nikashindwa ni butterflies zinaanguka. Two, nikaambia my roommate, she's called Joanne. Nikamwambia Joanne, ni kama nini clouds zimepasuka. You know, I was coming from home. I've never watched those movies. Those movies at Christmas, at least ningekuwa na idea, but I never watched any. So I had no idea at all. So tukaona, yani chini imekuwa white and there are things coming down, the snow, lakini hatujui ni snow. So we called the teacher, one of the teachers. I still remember her name. She was called Tiampe. So we called her and we told her like, what is happening? We asked her, what is happening? She was like, it's snowing. Just make sure you dress nicely when you're going outside. Warmly. My dear, did we even have those warm clothes?
You don't, because you had no idea.
And then also, we were not sure, like we didn't know how cold it is.
It can get, yes.
It can get. So I remember we went to outside, kutafuta lunch. And my roommate, she wore open shoes. And I was wearing some a trouser, just a material and a sweater. Everybody was looking at us like,
wametoka
wapi? One, we are Africans.
You're black.
We are black people, yes. They call Heiren or Feijoren. And then now we are dressed up very funny. Watu wako na makoti, yani wako sawa, wako warm. Jackets and all that. Sisi tuko hapo nje. So we went, I remember we went to McDonald's and one lady asked us, are you okay? You need to keep warm. By the time we got back to the hostel, miguu zimeganda. Mwili imeganda. So that is when now we realize we need to go shopping.
Is different.
Yeah, we need to go shopping. We need to buy warm clothes.
Yes.
We need to buy the winter boots. Because it was crazy and I remember I felt sick. I was very sick, like my body, because of the weather change, I became sick. So, but after there now, we learned that this is how it is. So it was only that we didn't know and nobody advised us. So from there, we knew what to wear during winter, during summer, the spring, and all that. Yes.
Did you come back to Kenya at any point?
No.
You were there the whole time?
Straight 5 years. Straight.
That is the best part about going huko ukiwa mdogo.
No, you see, but you see now, that one made me strong. Because you can imagine staying 5 years without seeing your family. Communication also was not like every day because one, the credit and at that time hakukuwa na WhatsApp. Ama kama ilikuwa at home hakuna. So it was just like a phone call, uko salama, hivyo. And sometimes the funny thing or the strange thing in China is that if you have a SIM card and you don't have credit in your SIM card, you cannot call me. See kama Upper Kenya, I have credit or I don't have, I can receive the phone call. In China, you will not receive a phone call.
Why?
That is just their policy.
Okay.
Yes.
Even right now?
Yes, I'm not sure about right now, but that time when I was there, you don't have airtime. You cannot
You're not
receive.
receiving
Yes.
any
So
call.
zingine you don't have, you cannot buy it because you don't have the money. So people at home will be looking for me. They cannot find me. They cannot reach me. So some point my mother is worried. They don't know where I am for a whole week.
Hakukuwa na Facebook?
Facebook ilikuwa, but sasa ni iko, you have to use a VPN.
VPN.
Yeah, you have to use a VPN because it's not open as here. Uko lazima utumie VPN. So saa zingine your VPN, and you know VPN also you have to pay for it. It's not free.
Yeah.
So sometimes they look for me for a whole week. I'm not available. Until now I top up. Then I can talk to them or they talk to me. Yes, they call me. Yeah, but I never came back. I was just there all for the 5 years. It was very hard. That one I can say it was really hard because sometimes, but I was praying for one thing, just one thing. Every time I woke up or I am going to sleep, I used to tell God, God, I'm not going home. I know because buying that ticket and then also I have the partial scholarship, so hiyo pesa ya kuenda nayo kurudi itumiwe kulipa the accommodation. So now I stay there and I was praying one thing. I was telling God every time, God, please, when I go back, I just give me a chance to find my family, all of them alive, because my fear was losing my siblings or my parents, that could have broken me. So I was telling God every time, God, please, ile tu kama sitaenda, when I go back, let me find my family as they were. And for sure, God answered my prayer.
Amen.
I came back, I found my mom,
Everyone
my
was
father,
okay.
my siblings, they're all grown, healthy. Yeah, that was the thing that used to scare me in China, the fear of being told this has happened. And also at some point, some other family members, like the extended family members, when someone is gone, my mom, sometimes she doesn't want to tell me.
Yes.
But I used to wake up with a very strange feeling that what has happened at home? What has happened at home? So sometimes I call my mom and I tell her, I feel like something has happened. And she became open with me. Anything happens, she tells me. And I became like, I'm okay. Like that communication, the open one, no matter how hard it is, but at least she has told me, because I was scared of coming back and then auntie Flani yuko wapi or uncle Flani ambiwe ayuko. That could have killed me. But at least they